Hello and welcome back again in the Bitcoin thinking channels. And I was not well in the previous some days, so now I shall upload all the videos on the daily basis. And please support me by subscribing the Bitcoin thinking channels right now and turning on the right notifications button. So back to the main topics, guys.
I think this week highlights the virtues of Bitcoin as much as it exposes the fragility of the crypto ecosystem. Bitcoin's a commodity you can self-custody without an issuer. The vast majority of all the crypto tokens out there are unregistered securities trading on unregulated exchanges, and they're fairly centralized. And so what could go wrong? Well, we saw what could go wrong if a centralized token trading on an unregistered exchange blows up this week. I think that the Bitcoiners have been predicting this for a long time. Speaking for all the Bitcoiners, we feel like we're trapped in a dysfunctional relationship with crypto, and we want out.
Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy founders and the executive chairman, joins the CNBC Squawk Box and discuss the recent cryptocurrency news in the crypto space, how Bitcoin holders differentiate themselves from the rest of the crypto landscape, and how regulators are considering the week's moves.
Clear, and this is stunning. Tweet number 6, Brad. They saw $5 billion of withdrawals on Sunday. SBF saying that is the largest by a huge margin. And I go back to this. At the core of this issue, of course, is obviously money, but is the hubris and the BS. All these folks pumped into the mouths and faces of investors for 2 years, propping up this industry, the Lamborghinis, the ridiculous conferences at the Bahamas, all of this was a red flag. And at some point, crypto will come back. Bitcoin will probably go back above 20,000, might even go higher, who knows? But you have to, as an investor, be careful when you see these things. These are glaring red flags in an upstart industry like this.
Interview with the Yahoo Finance, Sam Bankman-Fried apologizing to the investors via Twitters after Binance accusations of the crypto exchange fell through. We just got 2 tweets from the FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried apologizing from the cost that's happening in the crypto industry right now. Just to bring you up to the speed, if you don't already know, FTX was persuaded in deal by the Binance. Binance stepped away from that deal, citing some of their own due diligence. And now Sam Bankman-Fried is saying that that we are other matters that were certainly that proved that perhaps he knew about their bonus. Ultimately, when they are kicking their tires, perhaps they did not have the best of the inventions anymore in the pursuing them. Is the FTX collapse really happened? Let me discuss with some clarification points. FTX filed for bankruptcy on November 11 after the surge of the customer withdrawals earlier this month. CEO Sam Bankman-Fried admitted that the company does not have the sufficient assets in the customer demand. How Sam Bankman-Fried crypto imports collapse? Mr. Bankman-Fried said in an interview that he had expanded too fast and failed to see a warning sign, but he shared a few details about this handling of the FTX customers fund. In less than a week, the cryptocurrency billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried went from the industry leader to the industry villain. Lost of this fortune size, a $32 billion company prone to the bankruptcy and became the target of the investigations by the Securities and Exchange Commissions and the Justice Departments. But in a wide-ranging interview on a Sunday that straight past midnight, he sounded surprisingly claimed, "You would be have that I had been getting to sleep right now, and instead I am getting some." I said it could be the worst. The empire built by Mr. Bankman-Fried, who was once compared to the titans of the finance like John Pierpont Morgan and the Warren Buffett, collapsed last week after a run on the deposit left is the crypto exchange FTX with an $8 billion shortfall, forcing the firms to file for the bankruptcy. Mr. Bankman-Fried did, however, agree with the critics in the crypto community who said he had expanded his business interest too quickly across a wide swath of the industry. He said this other community had lived to the mass signs that fact that FTX was running into trouble. Had I been a bit more concentrated on what I was doing, I would have been able to more at all. He said that would be allowed to me a catch that was going on the risk side. Mr. Bankman-Fried, who is based in the Bahamas, declined to comment on his current location, citing safety concerns. Lawyers for the FTX and Mr. Bankman-Fried did not respond to the request for the comment. The collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX amid reports that at least $1 billion in clients' funds disappeared, impact potentially around 1 million customers, has prompted comparison to some of the most notorious financial scandals in the recent decades, yet the magnitude of the customer impact is much larger. The company founder Sam Bankman-Fried faces allegation that he has secretly transferred $1 billion from the FTX to the Alameda Research. His hedge fund had also filed for bankruptcy. The company is facing a criminal probe in the Bahamas, and on Tuesday, Senate Banking Committee Chairman Sherrod Brown DOO called on Bankman-Fried to appear before his panel. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said FTX collapse has a similarity to some of the most significant bankruptcies in the recent decades. A lot of people have compared this to the Lehman. I would compare it to Enron, Summers told Bloomberg's Wall Street Week. Summers described some aspects of the FTX downfall that reminded him of the Enron, the smartest guy in the room, not just financial error, but certainly from the reports we opposed of the fraud, stadium, and norming very early in the company's history, vast exposures of the wealth that nobody quite understands where it's come from. Bankman-Fried FTX collapsed from being a world-class crypto trading company to filing from the bankruptcy last week. Bankman-Fried resides in the Bahamas, where the company is also registered. The top Democratic donor is facing a burgeoning call from the investigations in the United States. Bankman-Fried has thus far cooperated with the Bahamian authorities, submitting from at least one interview with the police. The country is conducting its own criminal investigations onto the incident. Sen. Sherrod Brown DOO has also called for Bankman-Fried to testify before the Congress. Brown is urged the SEC to more aggressively investigate crypto trading companies like the FTX. Unlike the banks and the brokers, they resemble massive firms to receive the second oversight, critics says. But like other cryptos exchange, FTX operated outside the traditional banking system and this created enormous risk. So they act like the banks and the brokers. Crypto exchange typically are not subject to the same types of the regulation, insurance, and the disclosure rules that protect customers of the traditional banks. At some level, the fall of the FTX is not a crypto story at all, said Adim Levitin, a Georgetown University law professor and the principal at Gordian Crypto Advisors, and the firm that provides advice regarding the crypto bankruptcies. People invested billions in unregulated financial institution based in the Caribbean island. How could this end well? What the FTX case shows on the vast scale is that companies holding crypto for the customers can make investment decisions that end in disaster. And when they do, there is no clear guarantee that customer will get their asset back. According to the router, at least $1 billion worth of the customer funds have vanished from the FTX, one of the industry's largest exchange, under circumstances that are under investigations by the Justice Departments and the United States Securities and Exchange Commissions. In bankruptcy filing, FTX revealed that it could be owed money to more than 1 million people and organizations. The collapse has drawn attention because FTX is one of the largest crypto exchange and its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, 30-year-old. He had a widely hailed as a crypto wonderkind and a top Democratic donor, but over the past year, as the overall value of the crypto market has plummeted from a peak of more than $3 trillion. Other firms also have run into the financial trouble. Crypto lender Celsius Network and the Voyager Digital filed for the bankruptcy earlier this year after they were unable to meet customer demands of the withdrawals. Last week, another lender, BrokeFi, announced it was not able to operate business as usual and was opposing clients' withdrawals in the wake of the FTX collapse. This week, crypto exchange AAX announced that it called a halt to withdrawals, citing technical problems with the third-party partners. And on Wednesday, the cryptocurrency lender Genesis said that it is temporarily suspending redemptions and new loan organizations. The House Financial Services Committee has scheduled a hearing next month to examine the collapse of the FTX rep Maxine Waters, and the panel's leader announced that.